All right, so a little topic I want to talk about today is basically, are you a collector or are you a reseller? So for anyone that's in the reselling business, that you sell anything online, you sell anything locally, you buy things to resell them for a higher profit, or you collect things because you play Magic, you read comic books, you play video games, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever it happens to be. The big question I was actually thinking about was, for most people, I think it's hard to distinguish, are you a reseller? Are you a collector? And I've said for many, many years now, I always said that I am a seller because my goal is to sell things, period. Um, Ultimately, though, that there is a limit to that because honestly, there are so many things that once they come in my door, they never leave and they will never be for sale again. So on that side, I'm a collector as well. So if you're running a business, if you're running a side hustle, if you just have a little small thing on the side that you're doing to make a couple extra bucks, as I mentioned before, what is your purpose? What are you doing it for? And I'll be honest with you, it's funny because, 10 years into reselling and 6+ years into Magic now, those lines get blurred. They really do. It can easily get blurred still, even when I have a very strong focus about what I'm doing. And I think people can relate to this if you are doing this. Let's say, for example, you're a new reseller. Okay, for these purposes, let's say you're in a Magic the Gathering and you're going to start selling packs on whatnot, on eBay Live, on Amazon, whatever it happens to be. You're going to start selling things to make a little extra money and put it in your pocket. Okay, great. That's a good thing to do. I think it's important for everyone to have a side hustle. Actually, that's a video I want to make in the future about how I think everyone should have some kind of side hustle, something on the side. But you get to determine early on and continue daily kind of with that mentality of what your goal is, what you're doing, how you're getting there, why you're doing it, and you have to follow through. It's difficult. I'll give you a perfect example. I've had many collections. If you watch any of my YouTube videos, you know that I buy a lot of collections on like Goodwill, eBay, locally, things like that. And end of the day, the purpose is to make a profit on these. Like that's I say when I buy a collection of a shop Goodwill, like I hope I make a profit, I break even on those because yeah, those are honestly a gamble. Now that's not like the main type of my business. That's something I do on the side for fun. But, it's still part of my business and I would like to make a profit on those if I could. Whenever I buy a shop Goodwill lot, whether I buy it for $41 or $1,200, it is a gamble. Make no mistake about it. Like that's a gamble 100% because I can't look and see a deck list or a TCG player, a mana box list, or an Excel spreadsheet, the cards that are in there, and the conditions and all that. I'm gambling on what's in there. I'm gambling the condition and can I sell them and all that kind of crazy stuff. So there's that part of it. Okay. I do that for fun. I've accepted that part. But my question is, for those people that are starting out or you have something established, what parts are for reselling? What parts are for collecting? As I said, when I get collections in, and if there are some cool revised cards, if there's some cards I'm going to put in decks, yeah, those are for collecting, which means they're not going to be resold, which means that's profit that's out the window. That's profit that's claimed in your collection. Okay. So people think that's a small factor or variable, but it's really not. It's actually pretty big. Let me try to give you a different example. Let's say that you said that you're going to start selling Magic cards for the purpose of all your packs are for free. Okay, so you buy a case of MH2 set boxes. Let's say that you buy 6 boxes of MH2 set boxes. They cost you 200 and what are they, like 225? Let's go a little bit back and make math easier. Let's say they're back to $200 a piece, which they have been for 5 years, even though they're not anymore. Let's say they're $200 a piece, so you're gonna buy a case for $1,200. And you did your math out right, and you said, you know what? I can sell 5 boxes, and that last box is for me. I can keep it sealed, I can rip it for myself, I can just open it and have fun, keep the cards, and that last box is just for me. Great, you can do that. You can, on paper, make no profit. Again, seek a financial advisor. But let's say you on paper find, no profit, but you have this nice box that's for yourself. That's one way to do it. That is one way to do it. And I think that's a lot of people plan on doing. It doesn't quite work out that way. One thing that you'll find out if you get into a reselling game, and again, I don't care if it's Magic or video games or storage units or clothing or whatever it is, what happens is you naturally get inventory, okay? This is not planned. I do not plan on having too many cases of VIP double masters right there. I don't plan, well, actually, that was planned. That's a case of Final Fantasy collectors. That's not going anywhere. That was planned. But behind me, let's see if I can tilt this up a little bit. That's a lot of collector boxes right there. For example, did I get all those by design? Yes and no. They're all there for the purpose of being sold. They haven't sold yet. So what you see, excuse my language, is a shitload of collector boxes and a shitload of money that's tied up in magic collector boxes. That's a lot of collector boxes and a lot of money. So, am I a reseller or am I a collector? This is the question I ask myself all the time, because there are times when I buy things for my own personal collection. There are times when I buy things for resale, but the lines can be blurred, and I think this happens for everybody. As I mentioned a while ago, I started doing a purge. I did a big purge of my collection, my inventory, and all that kind of thing. Single, sealed, everything, random accessories, and all that kind of stuff. And it felt great. Honestly, I cleared out a lot of space in here, a lot of random things kicking around, and I cleared it out and I resold it, as I should as a reseller, as part of my business, for a purpose. And ironically enough, the purpose was to buy more product for the business. As I mentioned, inventory is an inescapable variable. I can't tell you how many times, literally probably 10 times today, I said, I'm not buying anything for a week. I'm not buying anything for a month. I'm not buying anything till this area is clear, and this area is clear, and this is organized. I only have X amount of boxes. You can say that all day long. However, here's a great example. Today, August 23rd. What's the date? Saturday, August 23rd. I had zero intention of buying everything and anything. I have collector boxes like crazy. I'm stocked up. My inventory is great. I happen to go on Facebook. Sure enough, there's a very high reputable seller selling a revised booster box for a very good price. A price that, honestly, anyone that has the capital and has the means to sell it should not turn it down. So I bought it. Did I need it? No. I still have 2/3 of a revised booster box still going on my shelf. I don't need a revised booster box. However, this is the nature of the business, and this is not just any business. This is a reselling business. If you're in anything, I don't care if you're a Walmart, I don't care if you're a Target, I don't care what business you're in. If you see a good deal that's too good to pass up, where the profit margins and the gross profit percentages are favorable, you kind of need to take advantage of that. And this is where it can get kind of tough, because it can feel like you're hoarding. It can feel like you're collecting and not reselling because you have all these things. I made this video, you'll probably see it a few days before now, about Dominaire United, how I bought 40 boxes of Dominaire United. I still have them. I haven't sold one. And I don't intend to, because there's a plan with those. Every business is different. Every person is different. Every goal is different. And that's the most important thing. And I try to remind myself that when I feel like I'm too far in the weeds when it comes to product or just inventory in general, or I look around and I go, holy shit, I don't need all this stuff. It happens all the time. But here's the question. Are you in control of the way your business is going? Are you in control of your inventory? Are you in control of your spending? If you are, then you're okay. If you're not, that's a big problem, okay? And that's kind of where I'm going with this. If you've ever seen, for anyone that's lucky enough to see an LGS or any kind of game store, comic book store, video game store that's been in business for like 10, 20 years, what you're going to see is a lot of inventory, a lot of old. So you ever see a game store that has like, oh, they actually have a revised box on the shelf. They actually have a box of Urza's Saga up there. Packs are $250. Hey, there's packs of 4th edition, $50 a piece. Those are businesses that are very comfortable with their numbers. They're very comfortable with their business model. They're very comfortable holding a lot of their profits in inventory, okay? That's the difference. So I try to tell myself, Jay, like, what the hell, man? Like, you don't need more inventory, which is true. I don't need more inventory. But I understand that I'm making the choice to buy more inventory. I've never had multiple revised boxes at once, never needed to. I buy one, I sell it. As soon as it's gone, I start looking for the next one. But when it comes to business, when it comes to actual dollars and cents and what you're doing and how you're making a living, as we all are, sometimes you have to forget what you already have and you have to look at the opportunity that's staring you directly in the face. I'm specifically mentioning this because not just inventory and selling, reselling, and collecting and all that, but also what I mentioned before about collector boxes that I think are down and beat up and won't be touched. Crimson Vow, DMU, Karlov Manor. I don't know why that's like 240 still. That's crazy. It's the bigger picture of the whole game. Again, as I said, you can't look at just one direction. You have to look at all directions. If everyone's looking one way, you need to at least glance in the other direction, see what's going on. If that stock is going skyrocketed, if it's already gone, exponential, you already missed the boat. Look somewhere else. Sure, you can jump in. Maybe you get a small little gain. Maybe you get destroyed. But guess what? That's already happened. That's old news. Go somewhere else. It's tough too because I think of I'll mention Final Fantasy 1,000 more times. I don't care because I still think it is ridiculously cheap. That's why I got a case right there. This is a case from pre-release, from pre-orders. I got a case of 6 right here. And I told you guys a while ago, my price target is $5,000 a box. Some people are going to look at that and laugh. They're going to say, that's stupid, that's ridiculous, whatever. That's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm fine taking profits that I've made from other sales to hold it in this. Okay. And again, sorry, I had like a freaking bug. I was at a picnic earlier, I had a bug in my eye. The question you have to ask yourself is when you have profits, what do you do with them? Okay. And again, part of it is when there's a good deal, you just can't pass it up. And I get that because that's how I am. I'm the kind of person where if I see a good deal, I simply can't pass it up because I know that maybe short term, it's not the smartest decision, not a bad decision, but long term, it's a good decision. So I'm okay with that. I think short term and long term. I think I like a lot more long term, honestly. I think more long term, which I think is a good thing. That's again why I still have these. Actually, what's funny is I have these and I bought more to sell because these aren't to be touched. And does that sound crazy? But I bought these pre-release for a much, much cheaper price than they are now. But I bought more. Let's see if we can see them on the camera. I bought more right there at twice the price because those ones are for sale. Those aren't. And there's a reason for that because these are short term. These are long term. This is my collection. That's my resale for now, at least. Okay. That's maybe the best analogy I can think of to make sense of it. I guess that works. So I think if people ever get kind of lost in the shuffle as far as I'm a terrible reseller. Look at this. I got 2 boxes of MH2. Or not MH2. I got 2 boxes of Mystery 2 open. I'm a terrible whatnot seller. I'm sorry. When you think about whether you're a reseller or a collector, understand what your short-term and long-term goals are. That's the most important thing. And so I know what my short-term goals are. That's very simple. That's very easy. Short-term goals are very, very simple. Short-term goals should always be tomorrow, next week, next month. That's it. Very simple, very straightforward. Shouldn't be much to question that. Long-term goals, next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. What are your plans? There should be plans. So if you are claiming to be a reseller, are you selling things or are you collecting and hoarding things? Are you taking all of your profits and locking up inventory to keep or to sell later? Those are different questions and different answers that you need to ask yourself. Final Fantasy, those will be sold down the road. I won't keep these forever. Eventually they'll be gone. Eventually get to a point where I go, the goal is $5,000 a box. That's my goal. Or maybe something else happens or a different opportunity. I say, I'm going to lock these in, sell these, move that money to something else. That's how it's going to work. But right now I know what my long-term goals are with that. Because I consider that a long-term goal, 5 years or more, I'm guessing. But who knows? Who knows right now? I told you. Crimson Vow sets. I wasn't lying. I bought some. That's a short-term goal. That's a short-term reselling goal. I'm not collecting Crimson Vow. I'm reselling Crimson Vow. I'm collecting Final Fantasy. For now, there's a difference in that. So I think it's important, especially people that are starting out and you're starting a business or you're starting a side hustle. Figure out why you're doing what you're doing, okay? Once you understand the why, you'll know how to get there, okay? You can put systems in place and you can get there. If you don't set goals, you will forever be lost and you will forever be chasing nothing. You have to have goals. Like I said with YouTube, when I first started YouTube, my goal, it was that pretty standard, 1,000 subscribers, get monetized and all that, which is great. Cool. Did that, I accomplished it, now moving forward. And I have new goals. I said a while ago that I was like, well, I make some new goals on this. And I made new goals. But they're, for now, at least they're for me. They're personal goals. There's a lot of resellers in the world. There's a lot of collectors in the world. For those that are trying to do both, that's fine. But make sure you define when, where, and how you're doing each. There has to be a difference. Again, like I mentioned before, if it was like MH2 collector box, a case of boxes. If you're selling magic cards, you need to sell probably 5 boxes out of 6 to break even. And that 6th box is your only profit right there. So do you want the profit in your pocket or do you want that box on the shelf? Because that's your profit. That's the decision that you have to make. Do you want to hold this for 2-3 years, then resell it then? Or do you want to sell it now for the quick thing? The quick nickel or the slow dime? That's the way to look at it. I like both. So think about that. If you're starting your business, if you're trying to make some money or whatever it is, if you're building a YouTube or whatnot for fun, great. That's the way you should be doing it for fun. But if it becomes a business, what are your goals? What are you working towards? I'll be honest with you. I get lost in this shit. I really do. I got a collection I was going through today, and really cool collection, actually. It was a lot of fun. A lot of new stuff, a lot of old stuff, foils, a lot of crazy, weird stuff, a lot of promo. It was a really cool collection. And the player in me is like, I want to keep all of this. However, the business part of me knows that, listen, you at least have to sell enough to recoup your capital. Then decide what you do with the rest. That's the most important thing. When product comes in the door, my recommendation, this is my personal recommendation, sell enough to recoup your capital. The rest is your profit, what you decide to do with it. Keep it for later, keep it for yourself personally forever, resell it immediately and get a profit. That's up to you. This is a decision you have to make every time you buy something. And it's a difficult decision. I don't want to sell anything I have because I want to keep it all, but I can't. It's not realistic. So end of the day, are you a seller or a collector? It's difficult to be both. It can be done, but it takes a lot of years of experience. So, which are you?